Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. This is actually the 29th. Pretty much Christmas here if you're a golfer in the UK, and this place in Mottram Hall's looking extremely busy. Now today we're talking about tilt and side bend that is going to add 10 to 20 yards to your drive. You're thinking, not possible. 100% is. This is my hammer and nail drill. So the first place I want to start with this is talking about spin loft. Okay, we'll look at it in a 2D model. There are two other factors that make this up, but for our sake of today's video, we're going to have our angle of attack, which is blue. I'm going to have our dynamic loft, which is the loft our driver head is going to have an impact, as red. Now, I am 100% guilty of this. I hit too down on my driver and always have too much loft. So my spin loft vector becomes far too big. Now anytime this is too big like this, we're going to create too much spin on the golf ball and into wind, get really found out. Hit that thumbs up button if that is you. And also we're not going to optimize our ability to hit it a long way. This is really costing us. So by the end of today's video, you're going to understand how you can make this vector a little bit closer together. So reduce the spin loft by hopefully hitting up a little bit more and not adding too much loft to the golf club face. This would create some optimal conditions, okay? Too little, not going to create enough spin to keep the ball in the air, but we're going to talk today about moving this angle of attack a little bit more on the up by just having a perfect tilt to the ball. So let's grab our driver, our big friend. Hopefully I'll have my new driver very soon, and keep your eyes on the channel because this one could be being given away. Okay, so we've got a setup here on the ground. This is really simple to set up, and all I've got here is two cones and an alignment stick on the up. Now remember, blue before was that angle of attack. Now this is quite extreme. This is probably about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 degrees on the up, but it's the premise of this video to help you understand. So our angle of attack, our blue, is now going to be our nail. Our pink cone, which is effectively our golf ball, is going to be our piece of wood. How do we have the best chance of hammering our nail through the wood? Well, it would be getting the loft and getting the angle of attack to be very similar towards the up, which is what we were saying before, bringing this spin loft in a little bit. Now, from setup, we can do a lot of good things here which will really help us get into the best position. Now, a lot of us will get an iron in our hand and really try and get it in the air, get these shoulders this way. With an iron, we tend to want to be a little bit more level. That helps us hit down on the golf ball. Now, if we adopt that similar setup that we have with an iron, of having these very level shoulders, what are we more likely to do? If I stand in here now, I am less likely to be able to hit on the up. I'm more likely to crash down onto that golf ball like those spin loft characteristics we had before. Hitting down with a lot of loft. Those high rises, not nice ball flights, that's not what we're looking to achieve. So setup is a really big thing. So what I want you to do is I want you to just put your golf club behind the back of this blue alignment stick, and I want you just to get your shoulders feeling as though they're really matching this blue. Now if you went too much, we're not going to be able to hammer it in. If you went too little, we're not going to be able to hammer it in. Getting in the optimal position is going to give us the best chance of hitting that alignment stick straight through the wood. Now, the one thing that I would always say is when doing this drill, I would always start doing it with our lead hand. Because, and this is why, for us to get as much power, if this is our hammer and this is our nail and this is our wood, going back to the start, I couldn't do it this way, could I? I couldn't hammer it down, which is what we don't want to do. We couldn't be too much on the up. We'd have to get into a good position and hold that good position. Work that club face square, and we actually start to bring in our brain and motor skills to actually do what we want to do, rather than having to think so actively about it all. So grab it one-handed and just learn to match, learn to match, learn to match. I would do maybe 3 or 4 reps just doing this, and if you're sat at home watching this video, if you can, go and grab this sort of thing and follow along with me. If you can't, make sure you subscribe or save the video, or do both, and download the PDF guide to take it to the range with you later. So if we applied that to the golf ball now, and I always sort of leave that in my peripheral vision, just so I can stand here and, right, okay, well this is what I'm imagining. This is what I'm imagining. I want that tilt at address, I want to start in that tilt, and I want to maintain that tilt throughout the whole motion. So let's hit one away here, and then there's something else that I want to show you. So I've got that tilt, I'm imagining that I'm working that nail up through the wood. Give me the best chance of hitting that high launch, low spin shot. And you'll actually be amazed how much more we can find that center of the club face. Okay, so this next point is, so the next part of this video is something you can do in the locker room before you go out, or even at home. And yes, it does require the badminton racket. I know you all absolutely love it, really. Come on, it is a really good piece of equipment. Club face, understand where it points, and for this drill, almost like a mini golf club. So, to get the most out of this, I want you to address it now with the badminton racket where it sits over the top of this cone. Now, if you didn't have enough tilt and we made some swings, very much like an iron, we would now crash into this. Grab your badminton racket, create that tilt, and make some swings where you feel as though that badminton racket is rising after impact, up and around. Now, if you come to the down the line perspective now, what I want you to see here is as I'm doing this, my hands are working in, up and around, and that gives me the ability to control that face. So going back to what I said about holding that golf club with one hand to begin with, it gives you the ability, okay, well that's what I've got to do to square the face. It can't be too much of a roll because that happens at intermittent points. It's got to be more of what will feel a little bit of a backhand with some forearm roll to a finish. Now just watch what my hands do here. I'm going to do this in slow motion, just with my lead hand to the top, into impact. I've got that body tilt that I had at address, up the alignment stick. Look when my hands are working, in, up and around, my club head staying out. It's not chopped and left, and it's not scooped up and out. Finding that middle ground is really, really key. Now, one caveat to this is if you are too much of one way or the other, you may have to feel the opposite. So let me phrase it this way. If you are too much chopping, it is going to feel a little bit more up and around to you as a feeling, but we need to know where we want to be in reality. If we are too much scoopy and leaning back, it potentially will feel a little bit more like you're keeping that golf ball out the wind. But remember, we're always trying to work that middle ground, this. So by the end of this video now, like I said, going back to getting our alignment sticks out, we've now learnt how to move our blue more up. Through a good setup, maintain that and practice hammering that nail up, not chopping that nail out of the wood. I don't think we could ask for a simpler analogy today, because that is the best way you can learn to hit some great golf shots. Okay, so the Masters is around the corner. I certainly can't wait. Unfortunately, we all know Tiger's not going to be there, which I'm absolutely devastated at, being a massive Tiger fan. But is Bryson going to run away with the Masters? I think potentially. The big question is if he turns up, in terms of if his game's feeling good at that point. I really think that he could take it away this year at the Masters, but enough about me. What do you think? Get in those comments down below. I'd love to hear who you think is going to be the 2021, which sounds absolutely crazy, Masters winner. Thank you for watching in this lovely Manchester sunshine. But if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button. It helps me, helps this channel grow, and see you tomorrow for some more tips.